My name's Gary Hudiburgh. I'm the executive director and founder of SotaSoDak. Today has been an exceptional day. We had Jake Danielson join us all the way from Rapid City, South Dakota, which is about 7 hours away. And I've got a bunch of friends joining us from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, from St. Paul, Minnesota, from all over the community, from Hutchinson, Minnesota. And SotaSoDak is about inspiring excellence through the gospel of Jesus Christ. We work to be able to create discipleship groups, to help mentor and to be able to change the trajectory of young people. So much of it is about sharing the greatness within our lives, sharing the stories, sharing the challenges. Part of the inspiration that I got today was being able to hear Jake Danielson speak of experiences that I've had that are very difficult, that we don't talk about enough, talking about mental health and about how things can be going well, and we can still have struggles with our mental health, and talking about great techniques that we have to be able to help create ripple effects within our society where we can be able to create positive mental experiences, where we can be able to create smiles, where we can be able to create good, genuine community. And that's very much what my goal is with SotaSoDak. SotaSoDak started because I was actually right across the street here, and I was having a conversation with a young man who's about 14 years old, and I was asking him what he was doing this summer. I'd been out working for a couple months. I tend to work on power plants. It's a very intensive job, working 80 to 100-hour weeks. And I was asking the young man what he was doing this summer. And he had a hat with a pot leaf on it, and he said, "Oh, I'm playing video games." And I'm like, I did the same thing. I'm not better than. But it was that moment where I felt really charged with the idea of creating an environment where young people can get different ideas rather than just playing video games. And so we started welding literally in the backyard of this house, and we would go weld. The young man developed some plans of things that he wanted to build, but he created these plans and was able to execute on those plans. And right now, young people with the video games and the social media, there's such a tendency to be disconnected from this idea of reality. We create these walls. And so by being able to create that welding, we were able to give them efficacy. We were able to give them that strength. And then also we were able to go take that, and I got him baptized. He started going to church. Awesome. And it's fun to be able to see, because it's literally my neighbor across the street. You know, we talk about wanting to treat our neighbors as we want to be treated ourselves. And I'm a relatively new Christian, and it was something that I just felt so compelled to engage in, because he's a great young man. He's got great potential. He's got great opportunity. And so this is a way that we can be able to foster the greatness within our communities through service and through being able to create strong mentorship relationships.
How cool is, like, I've never spoken in a space like this, and that's like awesome. Like, that's cool to, like, the fact that you guys made these tables is awesome. Like, you get to use them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember building a chair in high school, and like, I still think about it. I'm like, I built. Yeah, man, I'm really, really blessed and honored that you asked me to be here, and I got to do this, man. And
my name is Jake Danielson. I'm from Pine Ridge, South Dakota. I also lived in Nebraska. I started speaking because I started podcasting after a suicide attempt. I just wanted to be vulnerable, and I didn't know how. And so podcasting was good for me because I could talk on a microphone and I didn't have to talk to anyone. I could just put my feelings out on a microphone. And then eventually one of my friends told me I should record it and post it for people because he thought it would help people. And I thought that was stupid. And then it wasn't, and and it's done really well. I think I've done like 300,000 downloads, which is really cool because, like, why would someone want to hear me talk? But it shows the impact of just telling your story and talking about things and how it can affect people from all over. And then eventually, as time went on, someone just asked me to speak about my experience, and I reluctantly said I would because I thought I would hate it. And then I just fell in love with the conversations that I had with people afterwards, of like hearing their story and how it impacted them and how they want to be better. And that's what inspired me to keep speaking, is I just love getting to talk to people after I speak and hearing their stories and hearing how my story impacted them and how we can be better together and we can create better communities. So that was always been my inspiration, is just being able to hear about other people and to know that I can make an impact just through talking. I'm so grateful to be able to do that, and I fell in love with it the more that I do it. Ever since I attempted suicide, I've always just thought to myself, like, how can I help people? That's why I started podcasting. I did a bunch of mental health work just because like I just wanted to help where I could, and I want to talk to people, and people would reach out because of my podcast. And then once I started public speaking, I was like, I can talk to so many people all at once, and I can travel, and I can do all these amazing things and meet people from all over the country. And so it really, I knew it was what I was supposed to do when it gave me the feeling of like when I was an athlete, of like I really wanted to do it. I wasn't very good at first, but I really wanted to get better. I wanted to learn about it. I was like obsessed. I joined like different speaking groups, and I've met amazing people through that. Some of the best people I've ever met have been in that. And so it's just been, I knew the second that I wanted to continue to do it and get better, even though I was really bad, that it was something that meant a lot to me. And I really felt like I've called to do it. And as time's gone on, I feel like I'm just more called to do it every time I get to speak. My biggest goal when I speak, especially to youth and adults, is just them learning the importance of being vulnerable with each other. When we know each other on a deeper level, we care about each other more, we want to support each other better, we do more for each other. I feel like a lot of our division is just because we don't know each other, and so we don't care about each other, and we only care about ourselves. And sometimes I think society has told us it's just about us, but we're stronger together, we're stronger as communities. The happiest people on earth, it's even proved through a happiness study, are like the people who are most closely connected. And so I just hope when I come speak that I can inspire people just to be vulnerable and be closer with those around them and tell people that they care about them. Because as I get older, I just realize that's the best part of my life is the people that I've got to share it with. And I hope to inspire people in communities, but especially like the youth, the importance of being vulnerable and being close to people, and just trying to be there for everyone around them and building up our communities, because it's easy to push each other away, but when we come together, truly special things can happen. So the biggest thing when I think about the reason that I do what I do is I just want to help, especially the youth, when I speak at schools and things like that, but everyone just be vulnerable with each other and come closer together and create community. I feel like sadly sometimes we've been taught like it's everyone for themselves, or we don't care about each other, or like we have to just get ours. But the happiest people on earth are the people, it's like been proved through a study, are the people that are closely connected. And so my whole hope is just to bring people closer together so they can learn each other deeper and want to support each other and be there for each other, because life is so much better when we're connected. And I've talked with people about it, but we truly believe that suicide would cut at least in half, if not by way more, if someone just felt like they had one person they could trust. But trust is created through vulnerability. And so my whole goal is just to have people be connected, learn about each other, want to be close to each other, create new friendships, build community together full of people who just want to be around each other. Because especially as I get older, I realize that like the best moments of all the great things I've got to do, nothing has beaten the moments I've got with the people I'm closest to, no matter how small they are. And that's what means the most to me, and I hope to create that in every community that I go to. But the reason I'm here today truly is to give you guys one message, and that one message, especially for you young guys, is every decision that you guys make matters. I know it can feel like you're young, and like it's just a tiny decision, or like you're indestructible, like you can get through anything. But I'm here today to tell you that every single decision you make matters. And like I know South Dakota, I've lived here my whole life. Like you guys are hardworking. I know you guys work hard in the classroom. I know you guys put in a lot of work here. I'm not really worried about that. I want to see you guys become the best possible versions of yourselves outside the classroom, outside of work, outside of what you do when you're here. Because the majority of the life that you live is going to be spent outside of just work and what you do. So my hope today is to give you the opportunity to do things that you never even think are possible for yourself right now. I want to put you guys in a position to do things that you don't even think you can achieve currently. So I'm going to give you guys 5 things today that you can take with you starting today. You don't have to wait a week or a month or a year. You can do it starting today, so that way you can start to put your life together so you can do things that you don't even think are possible for yourself. Because I also know what it's like to feel stuck, right? Sometimes it feels like we're just living the same day over and over, or like bad things keep happening to us and there's nothing we can do. So my other hope is to give you guys control over your lives today so you can get unstuck, so you can do things you never thought was possible. But before I get into that, I start every speech that I give with a story. And that story is of a 21-year-old kid from Pine Ridge, South Dakota. And this kid's thriving, right? He was living his best life. He was a former college athlete. He started for his college basketball team. He wasn't playing anymore, but was in great shape, was still working out, eating healthy. He lived with all his best friends in the world. He had 4 of his best friends he lived with. They had a nice house. He had a roof over his head. He had a job that he enjoyed. He just turned 21. He was going out. He was having a good time. He was being responsible. It felt like everyone he was around, he was easy to get along with. Everyone seemed to like him. People used to shout his name from the streets when they see him just because they liked being around him so much. And for the first time in his career, he made the honor roll in college, which was a 3.5 or better. So most of you are probably like, man, this kid's thriving. Like, I want to be in this kid's position. Most people would dream to be in this kid's shoes. That same kid, that same summer, attempted suicide. That was me. I was 21 years old when I attempted suicide for the first time. It was because my life was so good. I come from Pine Ridge, South Dakota, so I know what it was like to watch people I care about struggle with addiction. I watched people I care about go to prison. I watched people I care about pass away. I went to funerals. I watched people I care about drop out of college, not have a good roof over their heads. So I thought to myself, like, what do I have to complain about? Like, people would beg to be in my shoes. People would beg to have my life. So I never told anyone what was going on with me. And eventually, that pain became too much for me to carry. And I ended up trying to take my own life. I ended up in Sioux Falls Behavioral Health Center, where it was there my friends that I lived with, and my parents came and visited me every single day while I was in there. And it was in that moment that I realized, like, people did care. It was okay for me to struggle, and it was okay for me to struggle even though my life was good. Now, I wish I could say, like, everything was amazing and I figured it all out and life was just so good, but that's not how it went. That next year, I dropped out of college. I started turning to drinking to cope. I started working construction. And that next summer, I got diagnosed with psychosis. And for those of you who don't know what psychosis is, I had visual and auditory hallucinations. So what that looked like for me is I used to hear screams so loud, I'd sit in the corner and cover my ears. I used to feel like these dark things were pulling out my arms and my legs to where I would constantly feel like I had to throw things off of me. It'd feel like these dark things were holding me down to the point where I couldn't move for minutes on end. It'd feel like they were hitting me like I was being assaulted. It'd feel like they were choking me to the points where I couldn't even breathe. I worked with this amazing team, but it got to the point where I couldn't even do therapy anymore. Every time I went there, all they could do was walk me through a safety plan because they felt like my life was in danger every time I stepped in the building. They talked to me about the possibility of going brain dead. They talked to me about the possibility of having gray matter in my brain. I thought I was gonna have to be permanently hospitalized. Even doing simple tasks like tying my shoes or opening doors became like really difficult for me. I'd like walk myself through it, tell myself like, you have to grab the door and open it. It didn't just come natural to me anymore. And so I got to the point where I felt like I lost myself. I lost everything. I was very lucky to find some medication that worked. I was starting to put my life back together. And then that next summer, I started struggling with my sleep. So it felt like the same thing, just in a different way. I was trying to get back into school, but like I couldn't really get any work done. I loved exercising. I used to walk out my door and I'd be so exhausted I'd turn around and walk right back inside. Even gaming with my friends, doing fun things that I enjoyed, I couldn't even do anymore. It was too exhausting. I spent the majority of the day doom scrolling my phone and just hoping I get some better rest the next night. So I got to the point where I was like, what's the point of me even trying anymore? Like, I'm doing everything right. I'm trying to go to school. I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm trying to do all the right things. And bad things are still happening to me. And I have no control over them, so why even try? And so I was able to get my sleep back on track. I took a job in retail in Sioux Falls where I kind of kept hearing the same thing over and over again, which was people who have what I had, they don't take care of themselves. And I had my own place. They said people who have what I have, they can't work. And I had my own job, I work full time. So for me, I thought I was doing too well. I was like, I need to take a step back, I need to chill. I'm doing way too well for myself. And I got to the point where I even remember talking to my friend Chris, and I said, the best thing I'll ever be is a retail worker. I'll never be anything more than just a retail worker. And there's nothing wrong with working retail, but I hated it. So I felt like I was stuck doing something that I hated for the rest of my life. And I got to a point where eventually I got suicidal again. And so it was late one night, I sat down in my room and I wrote out a suicide note. And tears coming down my eyes, I got in my car, I started driving. And I remember looking in the street, hoping a car would see me and see how much pain that I was in and how much I was hurting. But that night there wasn't a car in sight. So I pulled up to the falls in Sioux Falls and I got out of my car, and again I was looking for someone, hoping someone would be out there and see me. But there was no one there. So eventually I just started walking. At some point I sat down, tears still pouring down my eyes. I took a lighter out of my back pocket and I set that suicide note on fire. And I asked myself the most important question I've ever asked myself, still to this day, which is, if I even had the capabilities of feeling happiness, what was that going to take from me? If I even had a chance to be happy someday, what was I going to have to do differently? And that question alone, it completely changed my life. That day was a little over 3 years ago. I know 3 years can feel like forever, especially to you guys, but like it's really not that long. In the past 3 years, I have a podcast that hit over 250,000 downloads. I was named to the 30 under 30 list for the work I did in my community. I've been lucky enough to travel the country and speak. This last year, I achieved one of my dreams and I gave a TED Talk. But honestly, most important to me, I got my degree from the University of South Dakota. I'm currently working on my master's degree. So it showed me how quickly things can change and how fast things can change. And that's why I tell you guys that every decision that you guys make matters. Because I didn't do anything monumental that day. And I can't tell you one thing I've done in the last 3 years that was just huge, that just immediately changed my life. But I ask myself every single day still, what's one small way I can be better today? What's one small thing that I can do to set myself in the right direction? And because of that, I get to be here. And I get to do things that I never even could have fathomed. If you told me 3 years ago on that day that I'd give a TED Talk and have my degree and would be doing all the things that I do, and I would have laughed at you. But because I asked myself a question, I did a little step every single day, I get to do things that I didn't even think was possible for myself. Where if I never asked myself that question, if I never took a step in that right direction, I'd probably still be working retail. I'd probably be an alcoholic. Who knows what else I would have turned to cope? Who knows if I'd even still be here? But instead, I get to be here with you guys, living my dreams, just because of those small decisions I make every single day. And so that's what I'm here for today. I'm gonna give you guys 5 things so you can take control of your life, to make those small decisions every day, so you can do things that you don't even think is possible for yourself. And that starts with vulnerability. And vulnerability is so important because most of you guys are carrying the weight of everything that's ever happened to you that you never told anyone else. And it's heavy and it's a weight and you can feel it. The way I like to think about it is like trying to carry all the grocery bags in at once, right? From the store. Like we all want to do it. But the difference is when you're not vulnerable, you have to carry those bags every single day for the rest of your life. You never get to put them down. And every time something happens to you, that's someone else adding another bag. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Eventually that weight's going to become too much to carry. But when you're vulnerable, what you're doing is you're allowing people to take those bags off of your shoulders. And we get wrong because we think that those people are going to carry those bags, but the difference is they're putting them away. So that way neither of you have to carry those bags ever again. And another reason so many of us are tired is because you guys are someone with your friends. And then you're someone at school. And then you're someone when you're here. And then you're someone at work. And then when you're completely alone, all by yourself, you're someone different than all those people. That's exhausting. To think about the face you have to put on in every single room that you're in is exhausting. So when you're vulnerable, what you're allowing yourself to do is be your true, authentic self in every single space that you're in. You don't have to put up a face anymore. You just get to be you all the time. And what you start to realize is people like the real you more than they like the fake you anyway. And you become closer with people. People tell me all the time, they say, Jake, I like being around you, you're just yourself. And I used to be like, who else would I be? But I realize people say that because I walk so confidently in who I am, because I know the people who love and care about me for the real me. Because I also know what it's like to feel alone. And I truly don't think there's a lonelier feeling than being surrounded by people who love and care about you and still feeling all alone. But the reason we feel so alone in those spaces is because no one knows the real us. When we're vulnerable, we're allowing those people to know who we really are, so we don't have to feel alone around the people that we love anymore. And I get it. When we think about being vulnerable, it's like people are going to push me away, or they're going to shun me, or I'm going to end up being more alone. But in almost every situation, the exact opposite happens. Like, I want you guys to think of your closest friend or your closest family member. It's not the coolest person you know. It's not the richest person you know. It's not the smartest person you know. Some of you are probably like, I don't even know why I'm friends with that person. But the reason you're so close with them is because it's the person you know on the deepest level. You feel so closely connected to that person because you know them so deeply and they know you so deeply. So when we're vulnerable with everyone around us, with our community, then people want to support us and be there for us because they know it's deeper than surface level. And then we're closer with everyone around us because we understand each other more. And I get it. Like, someone's probably had it easier than you. Someone's probably had it harder than you. Our experiences are different, but what is the same is our emotions. We all know what it's like to be angry, or to be sad, or to be frustrated, or to feel happy, or to feel grief, or to feel overwhelmed, or to have depression, or to be anxious. We all know those feelings. So even though someone's experience might be different than you, we can still be there to support each other and be there for each other because we know what it's like to feel that way. But there's one thing I need you guys to know about vulnerability. It's because we've all had a friend and we know they're going through a hard time and we reach out and we say, I know there's something going on, you can tell me, you can talk to me. And they say, nah, I'm fine, I'm okay. And we wonder why they don't tell us. It's because they think we're perfect. Why would I tell that person they don't have anything going on? It's because vulnerability has to start with you. You have to be the one to be vulnerable first because what you're doing is you're opening the door for trust. You're allowing someone else to feel comfortable enough to do the same. I talk about being a leader in every single thing that I do. I'm in grad school for leadership. Leadership means everything to me because I used to hate it. Because what I thought leadership was you had to be the smartest or the most athletic, or you had to have this leadership quality that just put you above everyone else, like you were the chosen one. But that's not what leadership is at all. All leadership is saying, I'm willing to go first. I'm willing to be the first one to do something so that way other people can feel comfortable to do the same. And that's the power that everyone has with vulnerability. You can be vulnerable first so that way someone else feels comfortable to be vulnerable too. And if someone else feels comfortable, they're going to do that for someone else. And then they're going to do that for someone else. And then we have a whole community of people who finally are vulnerable, all because you were willing to go first. Everywhere that I go, almost every single place that I stop, someone says, Jake, this is the first time I've ever told anyone this. And I used to be like, why? Why me? What makes me so... You don't even know me. I've been here for an hour. But the reason people feel that way is because I talk about what I went through so deeply and so thoroughly that finally, for the first time in their life, they feel comfortable to do the same. That's the power that vulnerability has, is it allows people to feel comfortable to finally do the same. And that's why vulnerability is so important. That's why we start with vulnerability, is because not only are you helping you by being vulnerable, you're literally helping everyone around you feel comfortable to do the same. So that's why we start with vulnerability. That's why it's number one. When we get through number one, we can move to number two, which is affirmations. Again, affirmations I thought it was so dumb for so long. I thought it was I had to look in a mirror and be like, you're so awesome and cool and everyone loves you and I love you and you're so cool. And I'm like, I'm not doing all that. No. But that's not what affirmations are at all. All affirmations are saying things you either do believe about yourself or you want to believe about yourself every single day, over and over and over again.
Because a fun fact about your brain is 85% of the thoughts that you have today are the same as they were yesterday. 85% of the thoughts you're gonna have tomorrow are the same as they are today. 85% of the thoughts you'll have a week from now are the same as they were a week ago. So we all have like this negative self-talk of like, I'm not good enough. I deserve to be alone. I'll always be a failure. Whatever it is for you. But the truth is, you probably heard it when you were like 8 or 7 or 6. But because most of our thoughts are the same, we've repeated it to ourselves every single day since. So what affirmations do is it allows us to take that 50% and start putting good in. Because your brain's like a computer. The more good that you put in, eventually the bad has to filter its way out. Eventually you have to get rid of the bad. The more good data comes in, eventually it has to throw out the bad data. Because another fun fact about your brain is it doesn't know if you're telling the truth or if you're lying. So if you say something about yourself enough times, even if you don't believe it right now, you eventually will. And we act on what we believe about ourselves. So if you say things like, I'm a failure, you'll literally fail on purpose. If you say things like, I'm not good enough, you'll purposely come up short. If you say things like, I deserve to be alone, you'll literally push people away from you. But it works like that on the flip side too. If you say things like, I'm hardworking, you'll naturally find yourself working harder. If you say things like, I'm a good friend, I'm good around people, you'll be better to the people around you. If you say something as small as I'm a winner, you'll literally find yourself starting to get small wins because that's what our brain looks for. Our brain looks for what we believe about ourselves. So that's why affirmations is so important, because just by taking 30 seconds to a minute a day to say positive things about ourselves has the power to change our actions, which in turn changes our behavior. You really have the power to change who you are by taking 30 seconds to a minute to say something positive about yourself every day. So when we get through number 2, we can go to number 3, which is gratitude. And gratitude is one I hated for a long time. Like I hated it. Because I thought it was I should be grateful. I should be happy. I should feel good. I have all these great things. I should feel this. But that's not what gratitude is at all. What gratitude is when everything feels dark. And for you guys, what that might look like is you studied really hard for a test and you actually gave it your all and you still failed. And then you go to talk to your friends about it, but you guys are fighting, and so you have no one to talk to, and you feel all alone, and then you go home, and then you hear there's a death in the family. And so you're working through grief, and then you try to go to work or do something to get your mind off things, and then your boss or your person tells you if you don't straighten up, you don't get to be a part of it anymore. And so you go home and you think, what's the point? Like, what am I even trying for? And as most of us do, we get on our phone and we start scrolling and we see everything bad happen in the world and we think, what's the point of any of this? It's in those moments that you remember the good things, no matter how small they are. And like for me, it's getting to see my baby sisters. They're not babies anymore. They're going to be in 7th grade, but the majority of their life, I was either struggling so bad with my mental health or in college that I didn't get to see them. So every time I see them now and their faces light up and they're so excited to see me, like I want more moments like that. Or it's getting to hang out with my friends and like we don't even have a plan in place. We're just hanging out and for a little while it feels like I don't have a worry in the whole world. Like I want more moments like that. For me, it's even something as small as like a night of sleep, because I know what it's like to struggle with my sleep. So even if I have the worst day ever, being like, you know what, I can get some rest tonight, maybe we can try again tomorrow, that's enough to keep me going. Or even like right now, it's not easy for me to be here. Like I have some health issues, I have to take stuff from my stomach every day, I very easily get overwhelmed, it's hard for me to be in the heat, so I say things to myself like, is it worth the drive? Am I going to get overwhelmed too easy? Do I even have a speech in me? I haven't been able to practice for the last month. I've been struggling so bad. Like, am I even going to remember anything? Is anyone even want to come hear me speak? What's the point of me even going? But then I think to myself, if one person feels like their life was changed because I showed up today, like I have to at least go and try and give everything that I got. And I'm telling you guys right now, I'm giving you everything that I have.
Because what I truly believe is what gratitude is, it's a light. It's a light in what can feel like a world full of darkness. And I truly believe that that light is hope. And the more we step towards that light, the more we think of more things to be grateful for, the more that light grows. Until all of a sudden, things aren't so dark anymore, and we're so thankful we didn't give up when things were tough. Because I also know a lot of people who have everything they could ever want. They have their dream job, they have money, they have whatever. And they're still miserable. But it's because they don't think of the things that are good and the small things that they are grateful for. So if you can find things to be grateful for in the struggle, you'll find everything to be grateful for when you accomplish all the things that you are going to accomplish. And that's why gratitude is so important, because it's so easy to notice all the bad things around us. But the more we start to look at the good, we realize there's more good than we could ever imagine. And that's why gratitude is so important. When we get through gratitude, we can move to number 4, which is meditation. And again, meditation was one. I thought it was corny. I thought it was like you had to sit in a van with some bald guy and like sit crisscross applesauce and like have your fingers up and like say And I was like, I'm not doing all that. But that's not really what meditation is. All meditation is just taking deep breaths. It's all it is. It's just deep breathing. And what those deep breaths say is, right now in this moment, I'm okay. I might not be okay in a week or a month or an hour, but right now in this moment, I'm okay. And people ask me like, Jake, how long do I meditate for? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. That's up to you. But all it takes is 6. It takes 6 deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth like you're breathing through a straw, to slow down your nervous system. Is that going to make everything okay right away? No. But what that is going to do is allow you to make a better decision. Most of us make our worst decisions when we're overwhelmed, or we're anxious, or we're frustrated, or we're angry, or we're overly sad. So what those 6 deep breaths allow you to do is make a decision that's going to keep you on the path to being something you've never been before, or going down a path of being someone you don't ever want to become. And that's, like I say, those decisions you make matter. Those deep breaths are the difference between being something great and falling down a path you don't want to fall down. That's why meditation is so important, because it reminds us that we're okay and it allows us to make better decisions. Now, this is my last one. This is number 5. I save it for last because it's by far the hardest thing to do. Honestly, the first 4 are easy to me. This one's really hard. And the majority of people that you've probably ever met in your life have never done it. And that's forgiveness. And forgiveness is really hard because, honestly, someone's hurt you so bad throughout your life, and if they haven't, they will, that they don't deserve your forgiveness. Or on the flip side of that, you feel like you've done something so bad and so wrong, you don't think you deserve forgiveness. And that's where I was at in my life, where even after I got my degree, even after I was traveling to speak, even after I was doing all these things that I dreamed of, I felt stuck. I was like, I'm not getting any better. I don't understand why I still feel the way that I feel. And it's because every time I made a mistake, no matter how small it was, I could wake up 1 minute late for my alarm on a Saturday where it didn't matter. Or I could eat one thing off of what I said I was going to eat. That wouldn't affect me at all. But even when I made the smallest mistake, I felt like I went back to my old way of thinking. And I said the same things I always used to say about myself. Is you deserve to be alone. You're worthless. You're a failure. You're the same self-harming, suicidal kid you've always been. And I went back to that way of thinking because I never forgave myself for all the ways that I felt like I hurt myself and others. Because what happens when we don't forgive, we spend the rest of our lives living in the past. What forgiveness allows, it allows you to spend the rest of your life thinking about the future and everything that you're going to be. And you guys are young. And even if you feel like you're not young and you're getting older, you still have a lot of life left to live. You don't deserve to spend your life thinking about the things that have happened to you. and the things that have already happened and being stuck in that way of thinking. You deserve to spend your life thinking of all the things that you can be and all the things that you do and all the things that you want to do. Because the sad thing is we all know someone, and it feels like they've lived the same day our whole lives. And we ask them why. We wonder why. And they say, it's because this thing happened to me when I was 16. Or this thing happened to me when I was 18. Or this thing happened to me when I was 20. And because they've never forgiven anyone for that moment, they've spent the rest of their life stuck in that day every single day since. That's the last thing I want for you guys. You guys are full of hopes and dreams and a future. But the only way you can focus on that is if you forgive those that have hurt you and forgive yourself for being hurt. Because it's easy to be like, I'm not forgiving them until they apologize to me. But the truth is, you have the keys. You don't need an apology. You don't have to wait for something that may never come, because you already have the power to let it go. The only person that has the power to forgive is you, and you have that every single day. Like I said, I get it. A lot of us feel like we've done something so bad that it doesn't deserve forgiveness. But the truth of the matter is, it's easy to say, like, after we do something, I should have done this differently. I shouldn't have hurt these people. I shouldn't have made the same mistake again. But it's easy to say that after something happened. But the truth is, we wouldn't know how to feel about it until after that event take place. Because this is our first time living life. Even us as adults, we make mistakes. Because the truth is, we don't know what to do until we do it. We don't know the mistake we're going to make until after we make it, and that deserves forgiveness. We're doing the best that we can for what we know right now in this moment, and that deserves forgiveness. And on the flip side of that, like I said, someone's probably hurt you so bad and done something so wrong that you don't feel like it deserves forgiveness. But you're not forgiving them for them. You're forgiving them for you. You're forgiving them so you don't have to spend the rest of your life thinking about what that person did to you. They don't deserve to live in your mind for 10 or 20 or 30 years. You deserve to let it go and to move on and to live a life full of happiness. But the only way to do that is to forgive. You're not forgiving them for them. You're forgiving them for you. You're forgiving them so you can spend the rest of your life having a beautiful life full of beautiful dreams, doing things that you can't even think is possible for you right now. And again, forgiveness isn't saying I'm going to let this person back in my life. But the difference is when we don't forgive, we say things like, I can't trust no one. I have to do everything by myself. I'm never letting anyone in again. I'm never making that same mistake ever again. But when we learn to forgive, we say things like, I'm going to be around better people. I'm going to find better friends. I might have failed, but I'm going to try again. I know how to do this better this time. That's why forgiveness is so important. It allows us to see things in a different mind frame, so that way we can spend the rest of our lives thinking about all the things we're going to become. And again, I don't care where you're at in your life. Whether you guys are young or older, you still have so much life left to live. Don't spend it stuck in the past. Spend it focused on everything that you can still do and still be and still become. Now, I know that I said 5 things. I have one more thing for you guys. It has to do with vulnerability, so it technically isn't in the 5. But before I get into that, like a lot of people always say, like, it's easier said than done, right? Like we hear it all the time. Healing is hard. It's miserable. Sometimes it's going to feel like it takes everything from you. Sometimes it's going to feel like you've been working really hard for months and you're seeing no growth, and you're going to say, why am I even doing all this? Or on the flip side, you're going to feel like you're finally figuring it out and you're finally getting out of that dark hole, and then something happens and you're going to fall right back in it. You're going to say, what am I even going to get out of it again for? Healing is hard. It takes everything. I'm not telling you that you have to figure it all out today. I'm not telling you have to do everything that I told you perfect or figure it all out or be perfect. All I'm asking you to do is to try. All I'm asking you to do is, even if you feel like you've been going for months and it's not getting any better, keep trying, because it's gonna. Or if you fall back in that hole,
and you tell yourself, why should I even get out of it again? Try, because you're gonna finally get out of it for good. I always think about my problem with drinking and how I told myself, I'm done. And then I'd go a few months and I would do it again. And I'd say I'm done for good again. And then I'd go a little longer and then I would do it again. But every time I failed, I got back up and said I'd do it again. And eventually I finally stopped for good. Or same with self-harming. I used to cut and be like, never again. And then I'd go a few months and then I'd mess up and I would do it again. And then finally, after years of telling myself I was done, I finally quit. Because healing isn't this perfect linear thing. It takes setbacks, it takes trials, it takes errors. But all I'm telling you is if you wake up and say, I'm gonna try to be better today, eventually you're gonna come out the other side better. Eventually something's gonna go away. Eventually you're gonna realize that everything you've been fighting for was worth it. And I don't tell you guys this because like I read it in a book or I got taught it in school. I'm telling you guys it because I lived it. And I continue to live it. Every single day I still make mistakes I have to overcome. But I know what it's like to sit there and beg for my life to be over, and now I get to be in a position where I'm happy every day I wake up. And I've got to work with dozens and dozens of people who've been in the same shoes of they thought life wasn't worth living, but because they didn't give up and they kept trying, now they feel like life's the most beautiful thing they could ever live. And so I don't need perfection. It's going to take lots of mistakes. It's going to take lots of messing up. It's going to take lots of setbacks. But if you're willing to go through those and keep trying, I promise you guys, you'll come out the other side better. And you'll be so happy that you never gave up. So I got one more thing for you. This is the most important thing. I could tell you guys, if you haven't listened to anything I said, it's a long speech. There's not a lot of us here. So if you haven't paid attention to me at all, that's fine. I don't even care. All I need you to do is listen to me right now. When you leave this room, I need you to tell someone that you care about them. Because we do a really bad job of it. And then we'll lose someone and we'll say, I wish I would have told them more. We don't have to wait. We can tell people we care about them right now. And I promise you, it means something to those people. You might hear something weird, like if you tell someone you care about them, they might be like, what's wrong with you? Or you're being a weirdo. Or like, are you good? But like I said, it's because we don't hear it enough, so we don't know how to respond when we hear it. But I promise you, it feels good to hear. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to, dozens, who have been like, the only reason I'm still here is because when I was at my worst, I got a random text from my friend, or a random call from my family, or someone saw me on the street and asked how I was doing, and that was enough to keep me going long enough until I got better. And I promise you right now, every single one of you in here has someone who's struggling, who's not telling you. And you can say, not me, I promise you it's the truth. Every single one of us knows someone that's going through a hard time that will never, ever tell you. So that text or that call, or just letting them know, it might be the one thing that keeps them going. It has the power to change the energy in the room. It has the power to change everything almost immediately. I'm going to prove it right now. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds. You got to turn to someone next to you and say something nice about them. I don't care how little it is. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Go. Okay, bring it back to me really quick. Okay, so you guys couldn't see what I could see, but even now, like we just talked about some of the hard things you ever talked about in your life. It's really heavy stuff, it's hard to listen to, and you're gonna leave here smiling. Everyone's smiling, or everyone's trying really hard not to. Like they're trying to hold it in and act all cool and nonchalant. But like everyone feels good. It took 10 seconds to shift the whole energy in the room. So imagine what we can do in our communities, in our school, by just letting people know that they're cared about. It has the power to change everything. And that's why I talk about being a leader so much. Because being a leader doesn't mean you have to change the world. You don't have to be Time magazine. You don't have to win a national championship. You don't have to invent something that changes everything.
All you have to do is something so small that takes 10 seconds out of your day that it has the power to change the world for someone else. That's the power that each of us carry with us every day. A small act that can change the world for someone else. That's what being a leader is. Doing something so small that takes a little bit of time that literally has the power to change everything for someone else. So if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to let people know that they're cared about and that they're valued, and you're willing to try these 5 things, and again, you don't have to do them perfectly, but just try. Try to be vulnerable about one thing. Try to take one deep breath. Try to say one nice thing about yourself. But if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to just try and let people know that they're valued, not only do you have the power to change lives, you guys have the power to save lives. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Jake, thank you very much.
Of course.
Gang, I just want to kind of bring it back for a second. We think about today when we got here, we didn't have that table, right? And we put a little bit of time in there, and we think about the power that we have about that table, about putting the right people in the right places, about taking the measurement, about taking the wise counsel that we have, and we think about what we can build as a society. Because that's really what the opportunity is. How we feel different. How we're able to sit there and to make an active decision about what our life is about, what we're doing. And Jake, I gotta tell you, I am amazed at your speech. I am so humbled and grateful that you're here.
Thank you.
Because it is a miracle. I have the same journey, and it's very emotional. I was tearing up throughout your speech because it's the power. It's so difficult to talk about that vulnerability. And I know there's people in this room that call me when they're suicidal, and it's something, the more we talk about it, the more we can change it as a society. And it's all of us coming together. And just like that table that didn't exist earlier, we built something amazing today. We built something amazing today. That's the purpose of what we're here for. It's not to sit here and to go play on the video game and play the Pokemon game or whatever it is that we're playing these days. They got Call of Duty. It's stuff that's beyond even what I play. But the thing is it's our fellowship. It's our friendships. It's that ability to be able to change, to ask that question, hey, show me a picture of something that made you happy today. Share with me something that made me happy. Share that gratitude. Charlie, I was thinking about it. I'm going to pick on you for a second because you're one of my favorite people. But when we first started working together, we didn't get along, did we? We didn't get along at all. And I would sit there laughing.
A little bit.
We did get along a little bit, but we didn't get along. And we squabbled a little bit. And I was thinking, Jake, the whole time you're talking about forgiveness, I'm thinking about being out in that parts connex out at Prairie Island. And how awesome our friendship is and how much that friendship makes a fundamental difference in my life. About being able to have a place to stay when I go to St. Paul. Being able to have the friendship. Being able to see the beauty about how our hearts soften when we get into relationships. And just how we together, just like we're building that table today, just like sometimes you just sit there and watch us build that table because you're learning. You're at that very beginning stage where you're just in the space and you're learning. But how magical it is what we're creating. And how important it is. And how for those of us that struggle with our mental health, you aren't broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing. Zero. The environment is difficult. There's people that want you to follow. There's some of us that are great, amazing artists here right now. And it's hard to be able to follow the path that this society tells us. But when we choose that path of God, when we choose that path of good, amazing things happen. When we choose that path of forgiveness, man, the friendships that come out of that are so much fun. And it's so magical. And Charlie, I mean, there's gospel that I've gotten because I've written preaching stuff out of the time I stayed at your house and I woke up at 5:14 a.m. and I'm like, I got to look up John 5:14 and it says, go forth and sin no more. And I have to tell you, that was a time in my life where I was thinking about, I've been sober for a long time, but it's not just sobriety, but I was thinking about some things. And it's just that power of togetherness. It's that power of God. It's that power of guiding and shepherding each of us and of doing the best we can. So I really want to say thank you. Jake, I want to say thank you to you. Just give you another round of applause. Thank you very much for being here. It's an honor. I'm so tickled. I mean, you came from Rapid City. It's 7 hours. I don't know, there's friends that you're here to see, but man, it's so cool what we create together.
Yeah.
And just like that table, it didn't exist today. There's things that we're building together that are gonna be lives that are better, and it's those small, incremental choices over time. If you don't feel that you're worth anything, keep working on it. Don't quit. Because I'm gonna tell you, like, if the past mattered, like when I did this, I didn't plan on waking up the next day. I had no reason. There was a bunch of other stuff I took. I didn't plan on waking up. But I'm going to tell you that every single day right now, it was worth going through that. And God puts a plan in your head, puts a plan in your life. And it's bringing us together. It's bringing great people. It's bringing great people. Great videographers. And it's great builders. And it's all of us together. So don't quit. Thank you for being here. God bless you. And have a great day. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah.